What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Around the Blockchain here on BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad, the largest and greatest crypto community in the history of the universe. I think we're going there now. How's everybody doing today? It's Around the Blockchain. It's Monday. We come to you every Monday through Friday around 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, like we did today. Got a great show for you today. Great guest. We even got a new one for you. So let's see. We're going to talk about some good topics. Have a good time. Who do we got on the show today? She's going to be eating hard tacos later this week for Thanksgiving. It is CryptoWendyO. This guy is making Mind Your Biz jealous of his gym gains. It is CryptoJebb. Again, this is our new guest. Now, she could be moving to Miami soon. It is Layah Heilpern. And the future Falcons owner, in his mind, can't come soon enough. It is Benjamin Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto. The Dirty Birds, the Dirty Birds. All right, so we are going to have a great show for you tonight. Very excited. Let's see. Before we get into the show, if it's your first time watching, you'll see everybody's got a little score down below in the box. If you're in the live chat, you like what they're saying, hit a +1. We'll give them some points. Whoever has the most points at the end of the show will leave us with a little bit of a parting word. We are going to nix the canceling out of a guest. We heard you loud and clear.
Oh, God. Amen.
Wendy will not get tossed. As she.
What do you think about this? Wendy and I will go in history as the only two people ever eliminated on this show.
I'm with that. That works.
That's history.
There you go.
Very exciting. Well, anyways, pop down in the description really quick. If you are not following everyone's socials, their YouTubes, make sure that you do that because they work hard to bring you fantastic content here in the crypto space. So show them that BitSquad love. All right, we got some great topics today. We are going to be talking about, for the lightning round, are we in a bear market? The OpenSea censorship. Now, this was a hot to press issue that we ended up mixing a different topic to go with that one. Very excited to talk about that, see what you guys have to say. And then we will end it with Biden is rehiring Jerome Powell. Let's see. Let's get into some market watch so that we can get into this show because that's what y'all tuned in for. Give it a quick refresh just to make sure that we are looking at the most current global crypto market cap, 2.54 trillion, almost 5% down in the last day. Yowza, not looking good. I know everybody was kind of expecting a pump. Some people are calling for 53. I think we are on our way somewhere. Where that is, we'll let you decide. Bitcoin coming in at 56,490. Ethereum, a little bit over 4,000. Got Binance Coin at 562. Let's look at some winners on the day just because it is bad. Sandbox, again, these metaverse tokens, they don't want to quit. They just don't want to quit. Elrond doing some good things. Cosmos, Avalanche. We won't look at losers because that's my thing. I don't look at the loser coins. Okay, so that was your market watch. Make sure that you pop in and like it. Like we said earlier, I'm looking at about 1,800 viewers, 300 likes. Let's get that well over 20,000 today. Tell all your friends. Tell your grandma, your aunt, your uncle. Remember, it's Thanksgiving week. And this is what we do. This is what we do on Thanksgiving week is we tell our family about crypto. So send them a link to the video, let them watch and get into it.
Actually, if you want to see more of a battle of the sexes, make sure to like this video.
Oh, Wendy, that was perfectly said.
Oh, there you go.
If you're in the chat.
Me and Jebb teaming up. Me and Jebb teaming up. For
it's boys against girls. Boys against girls tonight.
I don't know about that.
If you're in the chat, do it.
Boys have cooties.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
true.
Circle, dot.
Yeah, that's not true.
No,
if you're in the chat, do a hashtag team
you.
boy or a hashtag team girls. See who's going to win this
Yes,
one.
let us know.
All right. If you haven't liked the video, do it now. If you haven't followed their stuff, do it after the show. It is time to get into Around the Blockchain. All right. This is very simple. This is the lightning round. This is just to get you guys warmed up, get you excited. Layah, it is your first time on the show, so I will ask you the question first. And then we'll just go to Jebb, then Wendy, then Benjamin. Layah, Bitcoin not doing so well the last 24 hours. Are we officially in a bear market or is there room to go still?
Okay, so firstly, great to be on the show. This is very exciting. I'm ready just to go for this. So I still think that we're absolutely in a bull market. Nothing goes straight up. I think we're already back up to almost previous highs. So for me, I don't think this is much of a big deal. I'd be concerned if we did go all the way up, right? Like I'd be concerned if we were going parabolic all the way up to 80K. I'm still very much a fan of Plan B's stock to flow model. He seems to be right so far. So I have a feeling that this will go on until, what does he say, around like April next? I'm very much leaning towards that. And things that are going on in El Salvador are incredibly bullish. A lot of adoption throughout Latin America, Venezuela. So for me, this is just not the end. The sentiment is too strong. The sentiment is too powerful. And it's not just Bitcoin. There's just so much going on in the crypto community anyway. NFTs are still booming. The metaverse is still booming. Facebook getting involved is not a top signal, in my opinion. It's more of an adoption signal. So I think things are still moving forward. Nothing goes straight up. So I'm excited for the next few months. I definitely think we could go to 100K by the end of the year. Nothing goes straight up.
Wonderful. I love that. Jebb, coming to you, are we in a bear market?
Yeah. Well, I love what Layah just said, and absolutely nothing can just go straight up. Here's the thing. I saw an article on Friday from a mainstream media source. I'd tell you the name so I could discourage you from listening to their opinion on cryptocurrency, but I forgot what it was. No, we're not going into a bear market. This headline said, we've dropped 20%. Are we going into a bear market? This mentality comes from the stock market, where when you drop 20%, traditionally that means you're going into a recession, or in Bitcoin's terms, a bear market. That's not what's happening right now. In my opinion, the bottom for Bitcoin is somewhere between 53 and 54,000. We're basing that on all of our technical analysis. We're in a bear pennant right now with a price target of 48K, but hold on, I don't think we're going there, but I do think that we're going to break bearish out of it. We've got a level of resistance that was set on September the 8th, the day that El Salvador's adoption went official. That's at 53,000. I think we're going to pull back down there. I think the bottom is very close. I don't think it's quite here yet, but I think within just the next week or two, we're going to start a major new uptrend. Like Layah said, the fundamentals right now are absolutely on fire.
Excellent. One of these days, we are going to get you to say yes to that rap battle, Jebb. I will press you every time I talk to
you. We'll see. We'll see.
I saw you did it from your car, so I know you're feeling.
I did.
Feeling it.
I did. Go check out my Twitter if you want to see it.
Absolutely. Jebb is a rapper. He's very quick. All right, Wendy, what do you think? Are we in a bear market?
We're not in a bear market. We haven't been in a bear market. We've seen bearish cycles. We've experienced bearish price action, but there's way too much fundamentally going on for us to be in an actual bear market. Also, too, you have to remember Bitcoin was created out of 2008 when the United States had that terrible housing crash and all of those terrible things happened. So we are finally being put to the test. Bitcoin's real utility is being put to the test. So this is an important thing to note, to kind of see if we do adopt Bitcoin as a hedge against the US dollar and in other places as well, against their own national currencies. I don't think we're in a bear market. I think we could see a possible scam wick down to 48,000, pop back up, get back above 54,000, continue to consolidate back up to hopefully $100,000 by the end of the year. But at the same time, if practice risk management. If you're in altcoins, make sure to be taking profits, get some passive income, take profits into stable coins, but way too much going on for it to be a bear market. Just be positive. And if you have to, just take a step away from the charts and just kind of focus on doing other things.
Get some fresh air, take care of that mental health.
Touch grass.
Yeah. Just go outside and
there you go.
live.
That'll do it.
I love the term scam wick, Wendy. I use it anytime I see one. Absolutely.
Of course.
Benjamin.
Yes.
Tell the Bit Squad your thoughts on this bear or bull market.
I think there's a more important question. Is my hair currently in a bear or a bull market? I'm trying to figure it out.
It's in an ascending triangle. It's in an ascending triangle pattern. It's got a price target of a mohawk. Yeah.
Seems like it's in a wedge right now. Listen,
it's got a sell signal coming in on it.
There's no scam wick here. Okay, listen. Here's what I think. Now, I'm actually going to share my screen. I don't do this very often, but I am going to share my screen because, well, first and foremost, no, I do not believe we're in a bear market. You guys know that. If we were in a bear market, I would already came out and said, I believe we're in a bear market. You guys know, I've been thinking about Bitcoin to 100K by the end of the year. I mean, I still think that is definitely on the table right now. But I want to show you guys what I was looking at with market Cipher right here on the Bitcoin chart. So you guys can see here, Can you guys not? Can you see the bottom of my screen?
Barely.
You can't.
We can see
Yeah,
everything
hardly.
just at the bottom of the momentum waves.
Yeah.
There we go. I'm gonna
There you go,
switch
that's
them
better.
here. Okay. So this is a daily chart for the entire year, and when you come here and you look at the last time we had these two large green dots here, I'm going to show you what that equated to. That equated to this run up right here. Okay, which not necessarily super parabolic, but it did run all the way up from 29,000 all the way up to 52,000, right? Which is about, you know, right now with Bitcoin around $60,000, I think that would actually be a pretty similar pump to get it to 100K. That's a gain of 77%, and we were to see Bitcoin go to 100K from, I don't know, let's just say it goes down to 50,000. That would be like a 99% jump from where it is right now. That would be a let's say 56. I don't know, somewhere about 77%, same percentage, right? So anyways, I was looking at this, and then I was looking at this momentum wave where we're at right now, okay? We had a green dot on the daily the other day, but it didn't confirm, okay? So what does that mean? That means that there's a good chance we're going to see more downside on this momentum wave. If we were to go down to 53,000, which what a terrible arrow that was, but if we were to go down to 53,000, that might be enough to get us deep enough on the daily chart to where we could get a large green dot, which means there's a big momentum jump coming and things are about to take off. I'm trying to figure out how in the world with this kind of similar sentiment to where we saw back here, where it's like basically just like Bitcoin is like inching up, right? What's it going to take us to get to someplace where it goes parabolic, and maybe dropping down a little bit more will be enough to give it that bounce? So that's kind of what I'm looking at, just in terms of, you know, if it does go down further, like maybe that's what we need to get the large parabolic run. But I still believe we do have a blow off top by the end of this. I still believe we're hitting 100K. If it's not the end of December, I don't know when it's going to be, you know, January, February, something like that. But I still believe that we're going to see fast movement very soon.
There we go. Angie with one more point there. Thank you.
And that's why it's so frustrating. That's why it's so frustrating to watch it right now, because, you know, it just feels like it should be moving up, and instead we're moving down, and it's very frustrating.
It feels like it should have already moved up like weeks.
But this is actually healthy. I mean, Jeb, would you agree that this is like healthy price action? Because you need to have pullbacks, you need to have corrections in order to ensure that massive run up. Because in 2017, we pumped so hard. I remember I was sitting in college orientation. We pumped so hard, and I was like, holy cow. And then we literally like dumped after that, and it was it. It was it. And then we were in a bear market.
We'll see that again, though. We will see that again, though.
Right, but we
will
right
see
now
that again probably in the next few months.
Because Wendy, I do want to point out something you said, because, you know, I love disagreeing with Jeb and Wendy as often as I can. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to choose Wendy this time to disagree with. Wendy said something earlier that was kind of interesting. She said that, don't fight me. She said, right now, the fundamentals are so strong for Bitcoin, it can't really be going down. Well, the fundamentals aren't really going to change. Like next year, when we do go into a bear market, the fundamentals, other than like some on-chain selling action, the fundamentals for Bitcoin and crypto and what's going on in the world and mainstream are going to be as strong as ever. And we're still going to see a gigantic bear market. And the reason for that is because it's all about the price getting overheated compared to what it is. We can have the same level of adoption and the same excitement for Bitcoin for the mainstream coming in, but when the price gets to a certain point, it's overheated and it's going to crash no matter what.
I can agree to disagree.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm with Wendy. I don't think we're going to see the same kind of crash that we saw. I think we created a new bottom, we created a new floor. And if the fundamentals keep improving, which they will, then there's going to be more FOMO, there's going to be more retail FOMO, more institutional investors getting in. So I don't expect that kind of 2017 crash.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think we're ever going to see an 80% drop ever again in Bitcoin, personally.
Well, but guys, we just saw in a span of a week, like just a few months ago, a 55% crash. You don't think it's possible
but that's not
to
80%.
dip another 20% over that?
Well,
yeah, that's in
I
the
just don't think
middle
it's
of a bull
likely.
market, 55% drop. So I mean,
but even if it does,
is massive in a short period.
And it was after 3 months of sideways action. It was after a distribution phase is what it was. It was a bull market, but it was also, there's more to it than just, oh, well, it was in a bull market. We were in the middle of a long-term sideways action up at 66, and we lost institutional backing, and we saw Elon Musk drop, and there was a lot of bears pushing us to the downside, and we couldn't drop 80%. So I don't think we're going to see 80%.
You don't think that's going to happen?
There's too many institutions that buy that bottom.
You don't think all that's going to
I think
happen?
we'll probably drop 60, 65%. I think we'll drop 60 or 65. I don't think we'll drop 80 is my point.
I would have said that too. I would have said 65%. That was actually kind of my number for the bear market until I saw that dramatic dump in the middle of this bull market. It just hit me like, no, they're actually going to try to push it down as much as they can possibly push it down to try to add more.
It will be a 69% correction.
I'm with Wendy.
That is factually accurate, yes.
Wendy, you get a point for that. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Oh, come on. It'll drop 420%. Do I get a point? What the heck?
If you would have said
but I think the best thing...
That's cheap, but you knew.
But
Okay. All right, we're going off the rails here. Let's go to the next topic. Let's talk about some NFT censorship that's going on over on OpenSea. Right-wing cartoonist Stone Toss has had his Flirks NFT drop deleted by OpenSea and Rarible. Now, OpenSea and Rarible have refused to make a comment on the situation. Stone Toss is telling those who purchased to revoke the ERC 721 permissions as soon as possible. Wendy, is this a ploy by OpenSea to avoid controversy, thereby setting them up to get bought down the road?
I don't necessarily think it's a ploy for them to do that. I just think that they are to get bought down the road, which it very well could be that that's something I didn't think about. But at the end of the day, when you have a centralized platform that is claiming to be decentralized, it's really not fully decentralized. I understand why that they took that particular piece down. But I do have to play the devil's advocate and talk about decentralization. Because when you're talking about something that's fully decentralized, that's fully free, freedom of speech, that to me, that means you can't dictate what is said or what is posted. So that's the downside. That's the ugly part of decentralization. Do I agree with it? Yes and no. But at the same time, it was terrible what happened. I'm not excusing what happened. I'm not excusing for ugly things that people do or say because I don't agree with it. But at the same time, is that like, that's part of decentralization. So it's a really, really terrible thing. And OpenSea is not decentralized.
It's not. It's very, very much centralized, and we do know that. Thank you, Wendy. Great point there. Jeb, I'm going to bring this next one over to you. Now, the Stone Toss has over 195,000 followers on Twitter. Do you think that there is enough support from the community to overturn this, and as something like this happened before that you're aware of?
Well, let me first preface with I'm not terribly familiar with the case that we're talking about here, so just want to say that up front. I've heard about it. I'm just now getting into NFTs. Everybody on my channel knows I just finally bought my first NFT last week. I lost my I got into NFTs. I'm very excited. The issue that you run into with NFTs is that, and I'm going to dodge the question just a little bit, but I'm going to bring it back. The thing that you run into with NFTs is the same legal conundrum that you run into with blockchain. Many, many years ago, somebody encoded a link to something that I'm not going to repeat on your YouTube channel because I don't want to get taken down, but something horrible on a blockchain. And there was a lot of conversation about like, hey, this thing just got encoded on the blockchain. So if you have Bitcoin's ledger on your computer, then your computer has this thing on your computer that is very, very much illegal. And there was a lot of conversation like, oh, is Bitcoin going to get shut down or banned because people have something horrible on a blockchain? The issue is if you have a fully decentralized platform like Bitcoin or a fully decentralized protocol like Bitcoin, there's not really a good legal argument against that because you can't press charges against Bitcoin. You just can't do. That's not the way that works. But when you do have something like OpenSea where it is very centralized, that does lead to a company that has interests that they want to preserve. OpenSea's valued at $1.5 billion. They just raised $100 million in Series B funding, and they have to protect those investors' interest. And that's kind of just what happens when you are trading on a marketplace like this. But what I think this case is going to do, like I said, I don't know all the specifics, so I'm not going to comment there, but what a case like this is going to do, because I do know there's a lot of outrage over it, it's going to help drive innovation for decentralized NFT exchanges, which there's exchanges and platforms and everything, of which there are already many on the platform. I think it's going to lead to open competition. It's going to end up being a good thing for the market, but these are the kind of things that we're going to have to deal with as the market continues to develop, because you got to realize the NFT ecosystem is barely a year and a half old. That's just kind of what we're going to have to deal with.
Absolutely. Layah, I'm going to come to you on this next question, and this is kind of piggybacking a little bit off of what Jeb said, you know, kind of alluding to freedom of speech and stuff. Now, freedom of speech pretty much spawned from where you come from your country. Do you see the fight for free speech in crypto moving faster than we originally anticipated?
Freedom of speech is such a heavy topic. I'll just start by essentially saying that I think what happened, again, I actually haven't seen the piece of art either. This is the first time I'm hearing about it, but I am a freedom of speech advocate, a massive one. And I think the thing with cryptocurrency and this whole industry is the fact that it's almost like a safe haven. It's a safe haven for so much that's going on in the world, particularly, of course, when it comes to free speech. We've seen crazy censorship when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to Twitter. And so I do think to some extent it's actually quite sad to start seeing this kind of censorship in the community. I think that it's our responsibility to protect freedom of speech as a community because nobody else is protecting it whatsoever. It's not being protected. In fact, it's being clamped down on more and more every single day. Even things which aren't offensive are now offensive. And so I think we have to really kind of look after the free speech in our community. And so I would hope that the crypto industry would be a pioneer for freedom of speech. But I also think within the community, you have two different sectors. You have a lot of Bitcoiners who are very freedom oriented, a lot of libertarians who will sort of die on that hill, will die on the freedom of speech hill. But then you also have a lot of people in the community who don't take the same approach. And so in the community, we're going to keep seeing a tug of war, and we see that a lot. So I'm, for one of the people who will die on the hill of freedom of speech, because we have to protect it because nobody else is going to right now.
Mm-hmm. Amen to
I love that.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I think if you are watching this, you better hit +1 in the chat right now for freedom of speech, because it is in jeopardy. Ben, all this aside, freedom of speech, if cartoons are banned, what's next?
That's a great question.
We're asking the heavy hitters here today.
Well,
guys,
heavy hitters.
Here's the thing. I actually know probably a little bit more about this than the other people on the panel, for simply the fact that while they were all talking, I was researching it. So, well, I'm pretty good. What can I say? Here's the thing. This is really just, it's not a political cartoon. He's a political cartoonist. These are actually just in the vein of every other major NFT project you've seen lately, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club or, Pluto Alliance or whatever the case may be. I mean, this is just a series called Flurks, Flurks, and they're just kind of like meme-ish little like smiley characters. They made one for Ricky Berwick, who is a guy who is on TikTok. He's very popular. He's got almost 500,000 followers on TikTok or on Twitter. He's an interesting character. I will say that. They made some in the vein of Colonel Sanders from KFC. These are really just like everything else. So you really have to sit there and ask the question, why were these banned? And if the answer is as simple, if it truly is as simple as they don't like this guy's opinions, well, that's a very slippery, dangerous slope when it comes to decentralization. Let me tell you something about people that are in crypto. People that are in crypto, they lean libertarian. They may lean a little more on the liberal side, maybe a little more on the conservative side, but a lot of people in crypto, they lean libertarian. Why? We're for freedom. That's what this whole movement is about with crypto and blockchain. And let me tell you one thing that libertarians hate more than anything else in the world, and that's censorship. That's control. So if this is the route that OpenSea and Rarible, which we can't stand Rarible anyways, they suck. If this is the route that and we said, by the way, on OpenSea, they've already been guilty of manipulating where they place NFTs on their site based on the individual NFTs that the people that work there hold. So it's not like this is some kind of like beacon of freedom here and beacon of what is good and what is right and what is moral. Okay. This is a company that already has had scandal after scandal, and now they're trying to be the moral arbiter. And that is a big, big, big problem, which, by the way, these were banned. Some other NFTs on OpenSea that have not been banned yet, Hitler NFTs and jihadi NFTs. So those have not been banned, but these Flurks have. So you really got to wonder because let me tell you what, Google Amazon, Facebook, they can get away with censoring because it's nothing but a bunch of sheeple that love those places anyways. Here in crypto, where we're for freedom of speech and decentralization, this ain't going to fly. They're going to sign their death certificates here as companies if they don't, get on board and reverse this ruling and prevent other people in the future from having to worry about whether or not their decentralized art is going to be placed on the biggest platforms.
Absolutely. Now, Wendy, Jebb, and Layah, I actually want to get your perspective on this next question because it plays right along with what he just said. We're talking about centralization, freedom of speech, and jeopardy, all that. If all of these major NFT marketplaces are as centralized as we're coming to find out, what can we actually do to the NFT market to make it more decentralized? Wendy, I would love to hear what you got to say first.
That's a pretty tough question, and I wasn't prepared to answer that. So I'm going to be straight up honest. What can we do to make the NFT market more decentralized? Well, we would need to create another platform that is fully decentralized. But at the same time, with fully decentralization, you're also going to have to ignore things or maybe not respond to things. Or if you want to respond, that's fine, but things that may be offensive to you. Because when you're talking about complete freedom of speech, you don't get to pick and choose what's okay and what's not okay. That's why, yes, I love freedom of speech. Yes, I love decentralization. But at the same time, I am not willing to put my 5-year-old at risk for decentralization. And that's a threat. That's something that could very well happen. And as a parent, I did have to say that, because if you want something that's fully decentralized, you go in the dark web and there's a lot of terrible things. So I don't agree with what happens there. So I can't fully say that I'm 100% for decentralization, because I would have an issue with specific things.
Yeah, no, that does make a ton of sense. And that is, like you said, that's kind of one of the drawbacks of a truly decentralized marketplace, is that you have no one to control the bad stuff that you would inevitably see. Jebb, throw some of your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think the thing that you have to realize here is that just like many things in our political zeitgeist nowadays, we all want there to be a right answer, and there just isn't. As Wendy talked about, if you have a fully decentralized ecosystem for NFT sharing, you are going to get the kind of things that Ben talked about earlier. It's going to happen. You are going to have horrible people putting horrible things on this platform, and you're not going to have a moral arbiter. But at the same time, a lot of people would like that. So the issue that we run into with politics and the issue that we run into with crypto is that we hope and we pray and we try and find a perfect solution, and it just doesn't exist. What we have to do as a community is we have to decide, do we value decentralization more, or do we value do we value having a clean environment for new people coming into the cryptocurrency space more? And what I think you're going to see happen is you're going to see a split. You're going to see more centralized, more family-friendly NFT platforms, and then you're going to see more decentralized, more Wild West, decentralized NFT platforms in the exact same way that you see major mainstream media right now that is very much dealing in censorship, very much anti-freedom of speech, very much very biased in both directions. But then you have these other little startups. They're like, oh, we're all for freedom of speech. But they also don't have all the functionality and all the funding that some of these bigger platforms have. You see this happening between things like Facebook on one side and then other things like Minds.com on another one. You can think about that with the dichotomy between crypto and the traditional financial system. You are always going to have a split there. And the people that are more ideologically aligned with, hey, I want full decentralization, they're going to use that product. And the people that want, hey, I want a more family-friendly environment, they're going to use that product. And that's the beauty of capitalism, is that you don't just have to have one solution. You get to have two or more, and then people get to choose where they are personally going to interact. The problem is we can't come into this thinking that there's ever going to be a perfect solution. There's not, but what we can look forward to is having multiple solutions, and hopefully one of them will meet our needs.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jebb. Thank you for your perspective. All right, Layah, lay it on us. What do you think?
So here's the thing. Yeah, so here's the thing. I think we're quite lucky now because we're super early, and we say this all the time, but being early essentially means that nothing is necessarily set in stone yet. So it's not like the traditional world where you have these huge monopolies, right? So you have Twitter, which is this giant monopoly. Parler tried to be that freedom of speech platform, and obviously that was taken down. So we don't really have those monopolies yet. I know, of course, you have OpenSea and Rarible, which have really taken the majority of the market. However, we are still early, and that's the beauty of competition. And so I believe competition will help drive decentralization if only people in the community truly really desire it. So if not enough people speak out and say, I don't believe that we should be censoring people, censoring NFTs, then nothing's going to happen. So we need to be as loud as possible in order to continue driving more adoption and more competition so that we can have so many different options. And then to what Wendy was saying about, not necessarily wanting to be entirely decentralized, because obviously that can lead to dangerous things which you may not want children to see. What I would like to see then is multiple different options, multiple platforms where individuals can choose different platforms which best suit them. So maybe the perfect solution, as Jebb said, would be multiple options. And I hope that we can get there, because without freedom of speech, you don't have anything. And I think it often starts with, it's always very gradual. Everything that we see, I'm still here, one second. Everything that we see is often very gradual. So it usually will start with very small types of restrictions being taken away or freedoms being taken away in terms of speech. And then that leads to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I think it's a really dangerous path to start accepting. And we've seen that anyway across the board with traditional news and freedom of speech and everything. So I think we have to be very, very careful when we start to allow that kind of censorship in this community.
Perfect. I love it. Absolutely love all of your perspectives on everything. And I hope the audience did too. I saw the chat going crazy with a lot of +1s for everybody. So great job. Thank you for doing that. Let's just make sure that you guys have liked this video, please. I'm showing about 1,200 likes. We need to get that up for everyone because, like we said earlier, these folks are out here working hard for you, providing great crypto content. All right, I'm just going to pretty much glaze over the last topic for today. We are running short on time, but I think it's kind of important just to go through some of these notes here about Biden rehiring Jerome Powell. Now, dementia patient and President Joe Biden rehires crony whose arms can only turn the wheels of a money printer. That's a good one. Nice job, Nick. I like that. Jerome Powell, who guided the economy through the pandemic, reduced the fractional bank reserve to nothing this year, but did allow the printing of 22% of the total money supply last year alone. Very insane stuff. I don't really have a whole lot of questions because right where we're at right now, the women in blockchain have won this for today. Very excited to see that. They took it by just a few points. Ladies, congratulations. Let's see. I'm going to say, Layah, because it's your first time on the show, we will give you the bump edge, get you that 1 point so that you can leave us with some parting words for the audience. So congratulations.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. So I guess I'll mention something about the Jerome Powell situation. That kind of creeps me out, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. I like the confetti, thank you. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. The reason it makes me so uncomfortable is because, like you said, the most unprecedented amount of money has been printed and pumped into the economy. Inflation is supposedly up 6.2%, although I'm sure it's up far higher than that. And so why would you reinstate the same person that is responsible for this economic decline? The only reason I can imagine doing that is because you just don't really care about the pockets of American people. For me, it's just kind of sad and kind of concerning, really. So that's kind of the note that I wanted to end on, that I don't think it's very nice, and I do hope that actually, I hope that we can see a more positive outlook. I don't think we will. And so that's why we're all here. That's why we're buying Bitcoin as the best way to hedge against all this rubbish that's happening. But yeah, I want to thank you so much for having me on. It's been so great. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And yeah, keep stacking sats. And don't worry, this is not a bear market. We will see new highs again.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. This was a great conversation with you guys. I know we talked about some pretty important stuff. But two quick things that I noticed in the chat, and I love it. I'm going to leave you guys on this thought, is that Ben, you were called Ned Flanders, or no, Jebb, you were called Ned Flanders, and Ben was called Chuck Norris several times in the chat today. I love that. I might start calling you Chuck. But all right, congratulations to Layah on taking out the win for the first time on Around the Blockchain. We will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, have yourself a great night, get some fresh air, and we'll see you tomorrow.